Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Pashvika. This channel is completely focusing on the emotional and the mental aspect of running and growing an online business. It could be an online business, it could be an offline business, but a business in general. So we're going to talk about the emotional mental stuff, and we're going to go deep down into these stuff because we have a lot of the stuffs going on in our life, but we also have a lot of the stuffs going in our mind and in our emotional part. So we're going to be covering them on this channel. So if you're interested in that, make sure hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Covering about fear of failure. This is one of the most common thing, and I think every other person on this planet earth have been through this phase. When you're starting with something, or when you're taking a new decision, or when you're going with the risk, there is always a fear of failure. So how to deal with that? I'm gonna be sharing some tips and being really honest and real with you guys, because personally I have been in this situation a lot many times, not just in my business but also in my personal life, when dealing with the relationships or my career in general or anything or the other. So let's talk about that. Human brain is made in such a way that we're going to protect yourself from the unseen and unknown dangers, probably, or unknown unseen situations. So that's why it will going to predict you. Okay, so that's why this fear of failure comes into place, because our brain is trying to protect ourselves from the unknown stuff that will going to happen if you start doing something, or if you're taking a risk, or if you're starting with something new. Let's dive into some tips. Hopefully it will going to help you. The first tip I have for you is to acknowledge your feelings. I think that this is one of the most common thing we humans try to avoid our feelings, because we feel like if we are expressing our emotions, whether we are crying or being angry or some other sort of, we feel like we are weak, because society actually taught us that if you're crying in front of the people, or if you're crying in general, then you are a weak person. But let me tell you, you are not a weak person, because it takes so much courage to actually being honest in front of the public. If you're crying in front of the public, maybe some or the other reason, that you are really a brave and courage person. It takes a lot of the work to actually being open and honest in front of the people. It's not a weakness. Okay, so that's why you need to acknowledge your feelings, whatever that feeling look like for you, whether it's a fear of failure, fear of actually losing the money, or actually losing someone, whatever the case is. If you're actually started with your business and now you're going over to the next level in your business, you have a fear of failure. What if this didn't work out? I think we fear over here when actually expressing or acknowledging our feelings and emotions. We feel like, what if we get caught in that? What if I get in this cycle of actually feeling bad or actually crying? What if I won't get out of that? This is also the most common thing that happened with me, and I think it happens with every other human. When we are trying to express our emotions, maybe to to other people, maybe our family member, our boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever we are expressing our emotions, even to ourselves. Okay, we are just in our room and close the room and we are about to feel those emotions. We feel like if we're gonna actually feel these emotions, we're gonna get stuck in there. But believe me, if you're not acknowledging these emotions, if you're not actually expressing your feelings and emotions at this time, you will definitely going to stuck. So if you're not expressing them, you're not feeling it, you're not acknowledging it, then that means you're gonna stuck over here. But if you're actually expressing it and actually feeling it, then you won't get stuck over there. Okay, instead you're gonna just feel those emotions for a moment, maybe for a day or two, and you're gonna let it go. Because moment we actually acknowledge the stuff that's going inside of us, the things just became much more easy and they just go through with the flow. So that is the first thing. The second thing I do most of the common time is to actually write it down on a piece of paper. Now of course I know that sometimes people feel lazy to write it down. I feel like I need to have a piece of paper and I have to literally write it down, but I want to tell you it's really worth it, because some things are really worth it over here. When you are writing down, you're actually jogging everything inside in your mind, in your brain, onto the piece of paper, and it makes things very, very simple and easy for you to work upon. Because when we see the things are inside of us, it's kind of like creating a hassle, creating a jungle or circle, whatever you call it. But when it's piece on the paper and you're writing down into the point A, B, you're gonna see that, okay, I have to deal with only 5 issues or 6 issues or 10 issues. It makes more sense and it becomes so simple and easy to actually deal with them. So write it down. Okay, you don't need to be fancy over here. You don't need a fancy bullet journal or something like that. Just a normal piece of paper or a pen or a pencil will gonna do your job. The third thing that you have to do is to actually always understand that the fear or failure will always gonna be there with you. No matter how big you are, no matter how famous you get or whatever level you reach in your business, the fear of failure will always gonna be there. I want to tell you, when I was getting started with my own business back in the 2020, dropping out from the college, there was a fear of failure. And even if I'm taking a new action or going to a new level in my business, again, I have that fear of failure. So nothing has been changed. It will always gonna be there, no matter wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever kind of experiences you have, how much money you have, how many assets you have, it doesn't really matter, because our human brain has been wired in a way to protect us from the unseen and unknown. So it will going to tell you, stop doing that. What if you're gonna fail? So that's kind of like a protecting yourself, and it just create a self-sabotaging cycle when you actually don't acknowledge the feelings and you don't actually take an action towards that. So it will always gonna be there. The fourth tip I have for you is to just take an action, because the only way to let these feelings or let these emotions go is to take an action. First, you need to feel them. Once you're feeling them, then you're seeing the beast by writing it onto the paper. You're seeing how big the beast is. Now, when you're seeing the beast, now to actually defeat the beast, you have to take an action towards it. If it's telling you you're gonna fail in your business, go take an action in your business. Get started with your business, even if it's opening or starting with a website, or even if it's actually sending a call letter or an email or a cold email to your client, or maybe launching a new product, or whatever the case look like for you, just do it. Action step matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a big or small. The only thing matter over here is just you take an action towards it, because when you're actually thinking a lot about it in your mind, in your brain, it's just gonna be there with you forever. It won't go away. So after feeling it, after expressing them and seeing how big the beast is, just go for it. And the fifth tip I want to share with you, which I practically do most of the time when I see that the fear of failure is much more bigger when the beast is bigger. If the beast is smaller, you could actually take an action towards it and it will gonna go down away with time. But when the beast is way more bigger, and when you have a big hurdle and you feel like there is a lot of the fear of failure, of money and losing the money, and this happened to me personally recently. I have actually lost $500 in my business. Now, losing the money is not that big thing, but I never ever lose a $500 just by that, and I'm not getting that money back. So when I lost that money, my brain was like kind of like recording all the memories for losing that money. It's weird, but that's true. And then when I'm actually taking next action, next money investment into my business, it was telling me, hey, you lose that $500 in the past, so don't invest right now, you're gonna lose your $1,000 again. So it was kind of like telling me, and there was a big beast I could see right at that moment. Even after I try all that thing, it didn't work out. So what I did, I again take a piece of paper and write it down. You need to write it down onto the piece of paper about the pros of cons of doing the stuff and not doing the stuff, okay? Because when you're writing the pros and cons, what I'm gonna lose if I'm not doing it, what if I'm gonna gain something if I'm actually doing it, or what is the loss if I'm actually not getting the thing where I want to reach. So writing the pros and cons, and then looking at the pros, whether the pros of actually taking action is far more bigger than the cons, or whether the cons is far more bigger than the pros. Because sometimes when we see the beast is too big, sometimes the cons is far more bigger than the pros, okay? So when that particular thing happen, you don't need to do that thing, because sometimes it is like the cons is way more bigger and you feel like there is a more chances of losing and then actually gaining something over here, then probably you don't need to take an action. So that's what you have to do when the beast is too big and you feel like it can't be resolved. Just write it down, the pros and cons of doing and not doing, and then compare which one is more bigger. The pros is more bigger or the cons is more bigger, and then take the actions according to it. With that being said, another tip I have, understand that you are not alone in this journey. Like everyone or all the people in this world have been gone through this situation or will be going through this situation in the future and are currently going in this situation, in this particular situation. So you are not alone. The moment we see that the other people are also going with this particular situation sometime or the other, we feel okay with that, because We are a human being, we are a social animals, and we want the likeness. Like if we see that a like-minded people are going through the similar situation, we feel comfortable. But if we feel like we are only the person in the world being going through the situation, then it feels weird and we feel try to actually blame ourselves for that. So understand that you're not just alone. You can Google it, you can watch the YouTube videos, listen to the different podcasts, audiobooks about this particular topic, and there are a lot of the content in the online space you're gonna get from the people actually sharing their own fear of failure in front of the public, and you can watch that stuff and understand that you are not alone, and that's normal. And I'm telling you, I'm the one here. The tip that I have for you is to actually tell your fear of failure that I had that fear of failure in the past and I achieved that thing. Actually giving them the testimonials of your life that I had that fear of failure in the past and I eventually get a job, get a degree. I did that person. I started being in relationship. I took that career. I did this and that even though I was having the fear of failure. I didn't lose that. Collect all the positive testimonials and tell your brain about your own testimonials of your past life, and that will going to help you beast. Hopefully these tips will going to help you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Share your own fear of failure success stories or fear of failure, whatever it is. If you have a tips, your own real life experience, it's really welcome. And if you have any video requests, let me know in the comment section below. I'll gonna see you in the next video with a new amazing topic. Till then, take care. Bye guys.